Thank you, beautiful. So, hang on. I'm getting moved, and I'm also getting stuck at the same time. Hang on just one second. I've got to get oh, my phone is too big for my it's too big for my holder. So, I'm going to try facing this way like I normally do, and I do feel we'll be good. Thank you, Louise, and thank you to everyone that's coming over from Instagram. Yeah, I was, since today is going to be a little bit of a shorter one because I have an appointment and because of the heat and all the things. However, YouTube is a much better, it just holds the frequency better, it seems, anyways. Please let me know. Hopefully it's holding up okay. Hopefully you guys are able to hear me. I'll give a moment for others to join. Okay, wonderful. Eliza, hello, beautiful. Whew, you guys, man, it's been an intense last few days, that's for sure. Very intense. Since that last live, I basically went into a cocoon, and I'm coming out of the cocoon, and I'm still feeling very wobbly, like a child, like a deer, baby deer taking steps. I feel wobbly. Welcome, Akindara. Welcome, Tara. Thank you. Yeah, I have a feeling it's probably going to be pixelated, but YouTube, thankfully, the capacity for YouTube to do videos is just so much better than Instagram. I love Instagram. I do. It's been a great place to speak and to post. I've also simultaneously, welcome Yvonne, welcome Betsy. I've also simultaneously been pulling back, as you guys have noticed. There's this transition that's happening, and it's interesting because it's coming. You're in a cocoon as well. Yeah, there's definitely a lot happening, taking place, and even in regards to social media, I had so many people over the last prior few weeks come in, a few hundred that just came into my Instagram, and I'm have everyone that came in. And it was interesting. It was like as soon as all of those energies came in, I was called away. I was called away from Instagram, and I feel like that's a beautiful thing, because if we are attached to social media and we're attached to the numbers, regardless of what it is, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, if we get attached to the numbers, then it becomes more important to focus on how many people than it is to focus on us. And as I step into this, that's just been one of the biggest messages, is to return the devotion to self, because our devotion to self is not selfish. It's actually quite selfless. It's an ability to honor ourselves in a way that we normally don't invest in. And it also is an opportunity to teach and master. It allows us to bring through our voice with power instead of just speaking to speak, right? We speak with purpose, we speak with intention. So we begin to incorporate social media outlets in a way that incorporate us, the wholeness, the completion of us, instead of just doing it to be seen and just doing it to be heard, or just doing it to judge, or just whatever. Because even, sometimes we can go on, if we're in a space of victimhood and we might not even be willing to admit it, but we go on there and we scroll and we we judge ourselves, or we judge others, or maybe we compare, and we get caught up in placing our focus on other people more than we do ourselves, needing to place something upon another that we are within ourselves not viewing. So right now, as all of this is taking place, I just want to speak into what's in my awareness, then we're going to go right in. Is that we've been, I know for myself, I've been shifting between parallel realities, which we always do, by the way. We are always shifting between parallel realities. A lot of times we're just not aware of it because there's so much happening in the physical material that we don't even notice when we shift realities that much. We might feel it in the body, but a lot of times the subtle nuances that show us what's taking place in that shift, sometimes we don't notice them. That's been the biggest, and I mean the biggest overlighting topic that's been present in my soul pod, is the nuances of deception, the nuances of distortion, the nuances of conditioning, how we actually lean into the logical mind, believing and thinking that we're leaning into the heart. There's such a nuance there of energy that if you are not able to have an awareness come in and reflect to you where you're coming from so that you yourself can see where you're coming from, then we go into these cyclical experiences, right? You know, you guys have heard me talking about this. The importance of that is because fourth dimension, fourth density, what has dropped into my awareness is it's the density and the dimension of time. So we have been in a container, a containment, a lockdown, where time, and it of course still is, very distorted. It's actually not even, the time that we go by is not even a thing. It doesn't really exist. So technically there really is, we don't really know time, because everything that we go by, the clocks, the calendar, everything, the construct of illusion, it's physical density time. Now, illusion is just simply a cycle of experience. It's Maya, it's the illusion. That's what we came here for. That's not a bad thing. It's just simply it's a vibration, it's an experience. It's where the soul has split itself into personalities so that it could experience itself in the lowest realms of experience. So it's an opportunity to understand where we have chosen to experience and why, but without judging it, right? We don't want to judge it. But we've never really experienced the truth of time. We've always existed as these identities, which is not the soul. The soul has extended itself as an identity. It's extended itself as a personality, but the soul is fragmented through those extensions. It was intentional. And of course, right, it was a choice. And then that personality continues to fragment itself through others and its connection with others. So as we come back into a more whole, complete state, we are doing this through a shifting, of course, in paradigm, a shifting on the cellular, and a shifting through dimensionality and density. So the 3D, the dimensionality and the density of 3D, it carried the experiences of that density, that dimension, which was illusion. Fourth density, fourth dimension, time. Now, it's an introduction, I feel. It's the beginning stages of understanding time. I feel like when we get into fifth density, fifth dimension, that's where we really experience the fullness of space-time. But we have an introduction right now. It's a stepping stone. So, yeah, I love that. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Even though we understand that the illusion, Maya, serves its purpose, it doesn't mean we want to remain there, right? Energetically, consciously, intentionally, we must understand where we have been choosing to remain entangled. The one thing that I did notice, and I know this is going to hit some chords with people, but that's why I'm speaking it. When I was looking on Instagram and I see people sharing, it's a wonderful thing. I want to express here, it's a wonderful thing when I see people sharing their experiences with others. There's a slight nuance to that share with the others that I feel that comes into where someone is so devoted to the people that they are connected with that there is this devotion. It is, this person is my other half. This person is my sister for life. This person, this soul, I am so devoted to, and I love them so much. And you can feel the entanglement of energy. It is quite intense. And this is why when we gather, if the intention of the gathering, these retreats, what is your intention for going? Why are you going? What are you gaining? What is happening there energetically, truly, that you're not willing to view? What is happening between you and others? When you have a heightened experience with the tree and with a rock and with another person, there's always an energy exchange, right? In nature, everything carries a physical, material, energetic signature. Even the planets, even the stars, everything is physical, material signature. It is absolutely a part of source. It is also the densest, least light-based source that we can have. That's the whole point of it being in the density. But nature does carry the highest aspects of light that are available for us in this realm. Same with, I feel, animals. There is a purity there. So when we connect with them, in order for us to connect with them in the purest, we must not need to experience anything through them, but simply exist in neutrality, but also in this state of awe and wonder of the beauty that exists, without needing anything from it, without needing to proclaim that we're connecting to a tree, without needing to show the world how something in nature speaks to us. That's the manipulation that I witnessed coming in on social media. And it's why, and it's even when I speak in here now, when I bring lives through, it's an opportunity for us all to be gathered in witness, of course, and to be speaking. And I go out and I speak to trees and I speak to everything and I connect with everything always, but it's always as an anchor point within myself, and I feel. So I'm going to guide everyone in as we begin to step into this. When I go in to connect, and it's just an opportunity to have, if maybe this is not something, maybe you haven't tried, maybe you have, there's a field of consciousness that's always around us. So when I'm connecting with nature, realizing that I can only see nature in as far as my eyes can see. I can only see this, what is here in the physical density. For me, my physical eyes do not see the space in between. They don't see the filaments of light. But when I close my eyes, I can feel them. Or even when my eyes aren't closed, I can feel them. I can always feel it. It's a space of consciousness. It's a living entity. It does carry, of course, in its density dimensionality, the consciousness and the field of consciousness carries a certain tone. So as we're shifting in realities, there's also an opportunity for us to realize that the range of consciousness is shifting. Anything in our physical reality still carries the tone of physical material, the signature of physical material. The earth, the world, if you will, the realm that is beyond that. We haven't witnessed, you guys. We haven't witnessed it yet. The whole reason why we are here at this time is because we have the majority of us have never taken part in a planetary ascension. We have never been incarnate and risen with the star system, the cosmic system, the sun, the entire galactic system. And I feel you, Betsy. I understand. I completely understand that. Absolutely. It's very interesting how much ego goes into the spiritual community. And I feel like that's kind of, it's why we are called into witnessing such things and realizing that if we have yet to witness, if we have yet to experience the fullness of an ascended planet from this planet, let's just say this planet. I don't want to say any planet, just we've never been on Earth when it's ascended. This is its first time going from third dimension to fourth dimension as a planet, as an outer dimensional collective. It is rising, as are all the planets in this system. Therefore, the sun, everything is rising, and it's going to be birthed through that channel of light. So we are moving through the birthing canal right now. We must keep in heart that everything that we see, our entire being, is built to support a physical experience. So everything we see, the stars in the sky, the houses, the buildings, everything is built upon, created within the dimensionality of physical. Even everything out there in our galactic right now is a viewpoint of physical. So when universes, when galaxies, when planets ascend, they all ascend into their next dimensional space-time. And that's what's happening. So in order for us to go into the fullness of our space-time, we must first be birthed through the canal of time. We must first go through and gain access to our soul. And our soul, of course, has been overseeing, that's our higher self, has been overseeing all of this, but we must go into and become the higher self, so that the higher self can then be a part of and rise as and with the process, because that's the whole intention. So there are layers. The physical, so this is what I'm receiving. That when the birthing happens, there will be a physical aspect that remains. Any density that still contains any attachment to that realm will remain, because everything energetically, things do not just happen by chance, they happen by purpose. This is why it's very, very important that we do not remain attached to anything in the physical, because we must remember that the physical realm is a realm of experience. If we are wanting to ascend, then we must choose to ascend into that realm of experience. If we consistently place our ego in front of us and proclaim that we need to have the physical in order to have the human, then we are not allowing the human to be the divinity that it is. The human is merely just an identity marker for experience. The human is connected to the earth because the human was the vessel for the earthly experience. And now the earth is ascending. The human is ascending. It will no longer be bound by physical dynamics. And everything Now, of course, I don't know if we'll see the fullness of this in our lifetime. I don't know that, of course. Whether we do or whether we don't, there is still an opportunity for us to graduate and to, and actually I really no, I'm not going to speak into that because I'm not. I would need to sit with that some more. I would need to be with that some more. Right now, we have an opportunity to consistently rise with the space-time, the clock of space-time that is pulling us into true time on a quantum level. So as these parallel realities are shifting, and as we are moving between realities, which is exactly what I've been really experiencing, that's where this cocoon has come in. Even now, it's easier for me to close my eyes and speak because if I open my eyes, I feel very disoriented. It's being between two doorways. It's shifting between dimensionality and density. And right now, especially for, I can speak for myself and of course those that I am in connection with most often, because our intentionality and our purpose has been to rise in our choices, to master our choices, and to understand the nuances of what we're choosing and why we're choosing it. Are we choosing to alchemize our soul? Or are we choosing to remain in the comfort of the illusion and in the comfort of ego? Because we have the people, right? Because we have the information. But again, remember, the information that we're being fed, our lines, although our psychic lines, as you guys have heard me speak into, are very, very powerful. It's not negating their power. But because of the telepathy, emotional telepathy, the mental telepathy, we're always absorbing through each other. And ego gets really caught up in this devotion to purpose, the devotion to the people, the devotion to the belief, and it gets really caught up in that. And it wants others to see who it's connected to. I see this, right? Social media is a brilliant place, and I've done it myself, to speak who we know, to speak who we're connected with, to put it out there for the world to see, and to show off who we're gathering with. And my question is, if we're going to use social media as a platform for light, what does it serve to show people who you're with? How does that serve the light? What is the message within that? What is it serving? What is it serving people to show the location you're at? What are they receiving from that? So now we are beginning to move into this activation. And I bring this into your awareness to invite you to view where you're placing your time and your energy, into what purpose, into what intention. Just to simply ask yourself, who's running the show? Ego or light? And remembering we're gaining a little bit more of our light each time. Now, that doesn't mean we kill ego. We just invite ego to rest in the heart. And we no longer operate from those identities. We become the proclamation of soul, which means that's the I am. The soul is the I am, is the higher self. So if you're truly operating from the I am, then you're operating from the higher aspects, the higher perspectives of self, and you're mastering the path. You're mastering, and you not are mastering the path, but you are the path, you are the way, you are the word. Therefore, the I am, you are. I am the word. Whatever that word is, you are. Therefore, you don't just claim it, you exist as it. And you guys have heard me speak this. It's a different tone. It's a different tone. I understand that when I speak for those that receive, some, it is difficult if they are not able to receive on a soul level, because I'm speaking as, from as much soul as I have available to me in the moment. I'm not speaking from the mind. It doesn't mean I haven't, but I definitely, every intention brings me higher and higher, meaning, I do want to say this. The mind is a precious, precious tool. Higher mind is a very precious tool. We've chosen to use the mind in a way that distorts and manipulates, instead of allowing it to be an assistant moderator with the heart, if you will, an assistant creator. Because for the realm of matter, the mind is the creator. And it is very much a part of the creator. It's just normally we don't bring consciousness into that creatorship. And now we have an opportunity to be in complete conscious awareness, where we use the mind to still create the reality, but we're no longer projecting conditions, limitations, teachings, and we're understanding how we can reclaim all of these egoic identities, where we're no longer choosing to run our reality from a state of separation. So your soul, remember, your personalities are an extension of the soul. So the personalities and identities must be reclaimed in order for you to become complete. So you also must witness these identities, these soul, these personalities, these egoic personalities. So you don't push them away, you recognize them, you allow them in, but you no longer choose to operate through them. And just as, Betsy said, I understand in spirituality, there's a lot of ego. And it's important that we understand that that's still at play, of course. And we just bring a lot more conscious intentionality and integrity. That's another thing I've witnessed where integrity is lacking. It's just simply, it's just simply this witnessing of, look what I'm doing, look what I can do, look what I know. The integrity is not there. And it brings in a lot of devotion to each other, which is ego. So I am going to now begin shifting into the activation. Thank you for receiving all that's been in the awareness. This cocoon was necessary as a part of this level of mastery and claiming, because anytime we step away from no longer operating from those conditions, the body is no longer being controlled by the conditions of those egoic identities. So therefore, there is a shift in reality. There's a shift in quantum. And your cells, your body is able to take in more light, because it is no longer separated through the ego. Because everything filters through the ego. Therefore, the cells in the whole body, they're only able to receive a minute portion of the light, because it becomes fragmented through the filter. So I would invite you to begin taking some deep breaths. And what is here before us now is we are shifting. Now, there are different shifts happening. Everyone is going to feel a shift of some sort energetically, because we're all connected energetically. The layers and the levels of perception as to what's happening will, of course, always be different, dependent upon where a person is in their own awareness. Where I'm feeling we have an opportunity to be always is coming out of these consistent parallel loops. So my question before you now is, what are you still choosing that is keeping you comfortable? Who, what, where, what of the physical realm, what of the material realm, what of this realm, and what belief, what thought that is connected to this realm is still holding you anchored in that existence of self. Because remember, when that anchor is lifted and it's brought into the heart and all of that comes in, not only will you not move down, not only will you no longer separate yourself through the quantum, but you can only ever go up from there. Now, not saying you can't descend. You can always choose to descend, but it will no longer happen as an unconscious aspect. It would be a very conscious choice that you made to shift into the descended aspect of time. What are you taking in that is influencing your thoughts? What are you bringing into your field that you are dependent upon, are feeling that you need, because if you don't have it, somehow you won't ascend. Remembering that ascension is a very, very natural thing. It's always an ever energy frequency based. It happens naturally. It can only happen though if you happen. It happens because it is chosen and because it is a rise, right? It is a rise in tone and frequency, in truth and wisdom. So I'm going to be moving through some tones. I'm just moving through what is here, what was necessary for my own self to anchor into this dimension of time. And I felt called to offer, so that if anyone was feeling this intense exhaustion and just, I don't want to say feeling weighed down. I don't feel weighed down, but I feel like elongated through time. I feel stretched through time. And thank you, Yvonne, for speaking into that with me, because that's exactly how it feels, stretched like putty. Our cells are being elongated, so everything in space-time is longer. A single moment lasts much longer. Yes. Well, we are all, if this is what someone is experiencing, yeah, if this is what you're experiencing, understand that those of us that are experiencing this, and I do feel that those of you that were drawn to this today, we are very much in a very similar aspect of this experience, which means we are moving. There is something that each of you is choosing that is different, that's calling you into this paradigm. Welcome, Aurora. So because this is what's in front, this is what's within right now. For myself, for those that I'm in direct connection with, this elongation is being felt because we have a major shift, because we have been choosing on our path of mastery, meaning we are mastering, we are understanding our choices, all the slight nuances, all the emotional entanglement. And because of this, we have been receiving ourselves to a greater degree. So anytime, this is not, I'm just speaking directly what happens when you choose something differently. When you're choosing differently, you have a shift, right? You have a shift in your reality. and your paradigm. And the paradigm of the collective is, of course, going to, if one of us is shifting, all of us will shift. However, it is your responsibility to find yourself within that shift. It is your responsibility of choice. It is your responsibility of understanding, right? So my question before each of you is, if this is something that is being felt, what choices led to this? What's the differentiation in your paradigm? Allowing yourself to understand the differentiation of your paradigm will give you, through your awareness, an anchor for the soul. And thus we are no longer dependent upon others to tell us where we are. So right now, we are moving energetically. So I would invite you to begin, my hands are shaking. I would invite you again to just dial in. And those numbers have been showing up. By the way, the 4s is a marker of time I'm feeling as a reflection of the mastery that we are within. So fourth density, fourth dimension, if let's say if this dimension is a reference, let's say if the dimensionality of fourth density, fourth dimension is time, if that's what it's all about, then our awareness of our existence within time, consciousness, is where our mastery is held. If we're consistently busy or focused on all the things coming into the field, then we get a bit distorted through time. So I would bring yourself inward and dial yourself in. Speak your anchor, express your anchor. If you've never spoken light or anything, just making sounds. And feel your anchor. So there, anchor beginning in the base of the spine. And then pulling from the heart. If you guys have noticed, one of the things that I have not been bringing through and I pulled away from it was identifying frequencies, you know, Lemurian, Atlantis, Arcturian, Syrian, not negating that those are frequencies of experience, of course. But I was guided to come back into a more neutral state. Doesn't mean that I don't know what is here. But what is here is how I am understanding my position in time. Now, the high councils of the cosmic higher dimensionalities, like such as Syrian, that have moved through such ascensions with their planet, are available. They have been stepping forward. However, there is this understanding that for myself, so that I'm not leaning on, so I'm not consistently leaning on other cosmic outlets or cosmic beliefs. It was important for me to understand my own position to a deeper degree, and to experience what it was to be in the existence of time without consistently leaning on all these words. And all these images. And what is available is an experience where I am just simply playing in my field of magnetic light and allowing my cells and my DNA to be reconstructed through the sound. This is one thing that has been consistently repeated through those moments where I do connect into the high councils, is that we are seen, we are experienced, we are viewed as sound and light on the symphony board, on the sheets of music that these cosmic councils are within, how they're viewing, how they're looking at the different universal sectors. Is there like sheets of music? They're sounds, and each sound is unique. It's a symphony, right? It's a symphony of sound and light. So if you allow yourself to play in the sound and the light, also with an intention. So placing the intention and the conscious awareness here of anchoring into a higher point of clarity and experience. So I'm no longer floating between parallel realities. Remember, you can be a passenger of your own experience. You can observe your own experience. And therefore, when you're observing, this is also in, of course, quantum physics, which gives us a little bit, they're going in the right direction, if you will, for science, but it doesn't quite give us the totality. The observer is still connected to the particle. Yes, you are directly connected into what's taking place. But a lot of times, if you're just observing, you also don't take a full responsibility. Therefore, you're not fully witnessing. You might be observing, doesn't mean you're witnessing. So we are stepping into understanding how we are the conductor, how we are the music, how we are the musician. We play each of those simultaneously. So if you're not the conductor, if you're just sitting back and receiving from everyone else all the time the words, what they're telling you, then you're not playing an active role in your own activation. Setting the intention for my cells. Receiving to solidify within placement of dimensionality. needed for you right now? What is here for you right now? What intention is going to activation and cellular reconstruction can feed from focus of attention and awareness? Please place your intention there within you. I will call forth the high councils of light. I'm not going to identify any. High councils of light that assist in overseeing as watchers, but also as guides, if you will, guardians. There we go, guardians that have mastered or ascended with their own planet and with their own system and their star. Calling these councils forward. I'm going to invite you to connect into these councils of light without a need to identify them. Moving. Maru Ari Jarayatak Ari Urk at is Urk ask Urkushk Urkash Urkashk 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 receiving Urkurish. Allow yourself to receive from the place that upholds the intention, whatever is most needed for you in this moment. I'm hearing, what sound does your soul make? Shani Mari Ari Urk Ashki Ark Ak Ais Ark Urk Urk Ak Ak Urk Ak Urk Urk Ak Urk Urk Ark 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 Urk Urk. These are activations of encoded light, encoded soul. These are sounds of light. It's interesting because I used to I had a tendency, of course, to lean into that Arcturian encoded light, activating that within the DNA. And I feel and I understand that our DNA is not observing itself as Arcturus. It is simply the sequence of time. Our multidimensional beingness, yes, is the reclaiming of the personalities of the soul. Remembering that when we come into this realm, when we are born into this realm, we are born into a personality. But we are still a fragment of the soul. There are 144 soul extensions, personalities. This came into my awareness via Dwakul. I am still receiving the depth of that within my channel, but I wanted to speak into it because This is very similar to something that has been showing up for me, where the 144 has been so distorted. There are 144 extensions of soul personality. And if each soul has 144 personalities, then yes, we are reclaiming and harvesting, shall we say, gathering those personalities within. The soul that is on the path of ascension, the soul that has agreed, accepted, and begun its ascension will then gain all access to all personalities, and that's where the soul will ascend from. It's very interesting that that decided to come through. I was not prepared to speak into that. Apparently, it was necessary to be heard. So what is here for us? Through understanding of truth. What are we gaining? I'm hearing an ability to rise in frequency with higher knowledge. Calling in clarity into the 144. Calling this forth from my own soul blueprint with the oversight of the higher councils. Is this upholding the highest truth? Yes. Are we here to reclaim Yes. What role is this knowledge playing in this moment with the soul and the ascending in time? The ability for the soul to come into a higher completion of itself through the knowledge of light. Instead of getting caught up in the illusion of light. I would invite you to fill into this. I would invite you to fill into this. What are you receiving? What is coming through for you? Are you feeling? Because I'm very interested. I just want to bring that through. I was not, like I said, expecting for that to come through. So this is dropping in for a reason. And I'm feeling a lot of heart expansion. On a cellular. What is necessary for us to receive to anchor in our personalities. Continue the path. They will rise. So this is coming in. I just want to provide some clarity here. That if we have all of these soul personalities that are extended from the soul and we are here to reclaim and ascend, we must understand that a lot of what we pick up on is our other personalities, of course. And I'm feeling how this comes into reference, for instance, with choice points of understanding, the nuances of understanding, how each of these personalities play a role into the nuances of the density. Because those personalities are also in similar densities, or they're here right now in this density. They could also be interdimensional as guides, if you will. Just not incarnate. I say guides very loosely. I just mean they're a part of your soul. They're just not in a physical body. And they will come in so long as you are consistently ascending in tone. They flow in. It's basically like when you have a business. If you have 144 different businesses and only 4 of them are doing well, all the energy is funneled into the 4, right? So all energy is coming in from all of these parallel lives. There it is. What we are feeling is an elongation of the self through time, because all of these parallel personalities are coming in. Calibrating, activating the vessel to the receiving. I would invite you to dial in. Yes, now the soul personalities, the one thing that I would like to place here, soul personalities are lower density. Higher dimensional councils are either, they could be those that we connect into to simply have a mirror of what is available. Our personalities are still in the lower. That's what I'm feeling. Because if the soul, the higher self, has personalities extended, then the personalities would be lower than the higher self. And the higher self is 5th dimensional higher. It is the complete soul and higher. And thank you all for receiving this so far. It was a necessary understanding for myself as to what the cells are moving through right now. how the cells are moving, and having an understanding of what is being received through the cells, what that placement is. Because, as stated, I was guided to bring through a heart anchor and activation, which is happening simultaneously, of course. But there was a necessary understanding of what is that connecting into? Where is that coming in from? And so for me, on a soul level, an ability to understand where this energy is coming in from, where through the choice was the energy able to funnel in from. It's a very that for me I feel is an just let it pass through. It's not something that is definite. It is just my awareness. So we have 144, what I'm feeling through the space-time parallel universes of this realm, and other similar parallel realms, maybe other planets, but the similar realm, the density, the dimensionality, because of course, across the expanse of universe, everything happens simultaneously to one another. Of course, we view it in the physical sense, but in the true sense, there is no space. I mean, there is, but there isn't. So everything is happening parallel and simultaneously. And since we have an ability for the soul to ascend through and with the personalities, all of them coming together because there is a planetary cosmic ascension, then all can come back in and join back in and become into the higher self, and all ascends. So, with this understanding here, present now, calling in, expressing all sounds that calibrate the vessel to the incoming parallel sequences of personality. I just realized the time, you guys. I do have to be somewhere at 2. I'm going to seal this in. There we go. It's coming in. It's all coming in now. I feel it all. It's coming in now. Allow yourself to feel I can feel it. I don't know about you guys, but I can feel that understanding was necessary to solidify. Just so everyone, thank you for flowing with me through this. And thank you all for receiving. Having that understanding solidified the wisdom. It solidified the truth of the light of the soul. Sometimes we, even for myself, I'm like, oh, it's an activation that's needed, right? And it's, what does that even mean, right? What is the activation supporting? There must be an anchor point. Yes, 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 Betsy. The 144 are extensions of our soul. They're the personalities. That's what dropped in recently. I just received this just so everyone has an understanding. Please take this with a grain of salt. Okay. It came back into my awareness. I'm very surprised it came through. I was not expecting that. It came in for a reason. But I am still gaining a deepening into that. And I just want everyone to understand, please don't take that and run with it just yet. But I do feel, it feels very resonant. It's so simple. And that's what feels good. Like that's really what feels right. There's no illusion to it. It's just simply, we have 144 soul personalities that are extended because the soul cannot come into the density complete and whole into the lower densities of this realm. However, the higher self can exist in its whole complete self, as I've spoken into, and I'm sure many of you know and you're aware of, in fifth dimension, fifth density. It can. That's where it exists in its highest. This is what we're rising into. But first we must pass through time and the understanding of time to begin gaining the wholeness. Now, everything is here right now, and I'm going to close this really quickly. Everything is here right now, so it can all happen in this lifetime. Everything, dimensionality and density, is here now. It's a choice. We rise an octave through the wisdom, through the understanding, through the reclamation. So thank you. Everything is in. I feel the energy of those aspects from the parallel flowing in. It is here. Thank you for receiving. Thank you all for hanging in there with me. I'm going to go ahead and be walking and running and all the things simultaneously. So the ability to receive yourself and understanding that a lot of what we connect into are other personalities through other realms. And this means they are also still lower density, lower dimension. The soul has extended those personalities out into those other planets in the same density dimension. Dichotomy, if the higher self exists in fifth dimension and higher. So this means it must be lower than fifth dimension for it to be a soul personality, since the soul can't come lower. So just keep that in heart, keep that in mind. Thank you all. I love you so much. This feels good. I feel solidified. I don't feel as elongated through time. So I do hope that this has assisted many of you as well. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Until then, Adonai.